Okay, let's start. My name is Georgi Vasiljevic. I'm professor at Department of Geography, Tourism and Hotel Management at the University of Novi Sad, Faculty of Sciences. But on this project, I'm in front of Minds Europe Institute, the research institute from Serbia, from Novi Sad, Serbia. And today I will talk about creating digital interactive maps. Before we start, I'm sure that most of you or even all of you have been to the previous 3 sessions led by my colleagues and friends, Carmen and Katerina. But I have to tell a few words about the project, from which this session is the part. So it's NatureTalks. This is the logo of the project, NatureTalks Erasmus Plus project. We aim in this project to enhance heritage interpretation, mostly in natural and protected areas, but also we are focused on cultural heritage as well. We have 5 partners. We have ProCarpathia from Poland as lead partners, and we have Minds Europe Serbia from Serbia, The Story Behind from Italy, Geopark Idrija from Slovenia, and Atiko from Greece. This part, which are you participating, is 5 online seminars where we are trying to get the best form of curricula for heritage interpretation lectures and trainings. After these 5 seminars, we will have learning labs, which are on-site or in-person workshops that we will hold in each of the partner countries in protected areas. So for now, we had 3 sessions. We had Introduction to Heritage Interpretation, then we had Interpretive Guiding and Interpretive Writing. They were led by The Story Behind from Italy by Katerina and Carmen. And the next 2 sessions are about digital maps, tourist maps, and how to, let's say, make them more interpretive and interactive with visitors. After that, in autumn 2026, from autumn 2026, we will have 2-day workshops in each of the partner countries. As I said, Italy, Serbia, Slovenia, Poland, and Greece. You can see on the screen in which protected areas we will have these trainings. If you are nearby, you're all invited to join us. I'm sure that we will make them even better than this online. Some cases, especially these 2 mine sessions, are more practical and they will be better in person than online, but I'll try to make it as much practical as I can today and on Thursday when we have our next and final session. So what is the agenda for today? After welcoming words, we'll have the theoretical part, or part 1, where I will introduce you to tourist maps and maps. I think that most of you are aware what are tourist maps and what they do serve for, but I have to just make a short introduction. Of course, after that we will have Q&A session where you can always ask some questions if something is not clear or you have some comments or experience to share. Also, if you have something to tell me, please just unmute yourself and ask questions. Be free to interrupt me. After that, we will have 5-minute break. If it's needed, I will ask you. If you think it's not necessary, I'll just take a sip of water and we can go on. And go on to the second part, which is a practical part, or how to create tourist maps. I'm not sure how this will be. I do this kind of course or this kind of seminar with my students, but we do it in person in one big classroom where everybody is by their computers. But I'm sure that this will be, let's say, because it's recorded, I'm sure that this will be a good introduction to, or good tutorial how to create basic touristic maps. So we will not be professionals today. I'll just want to, let's say, maybe show you and maybe introduce you to creating tourist maps. Of course, after that we will have Q&A session, and we will at the end ask you to fill in the feedback form, so we will know what was good and what was bad within this and any other sessions that we had. Okay, let's start. I will now need some of your attention. I would like you to tell me what should a good tourist map do or provide. So I'm sure that you bump to a lot of tourist maps while you were traveling or within your work. So what should a good tourist map do or provide? You can write in chat, or you can unmute yourself and tell me your thoughts. Anybody? Okay, Carmen says inspiration, information, orientation. Good. Anybody else? So when you see a map on your travel, what do you, okay, information. Ivana says information about place, illustrations. Good. Okay, your point, you're here. That is really a useful thing. Great. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, yes, you definitely said that what I meant you to said. So it should, first of all, maps should provide orientation. So you should know where you are in the space, in the area, and how to get to specific location that you're looking for. It should show main attractions. So it should point out hotspots of the area, what the creator of the map was trying to give you and provide you. And of course, to include some practical information, like some amenities, like where are restrooms, toilets, chill out zones, maybe in some recreational area, or some hospitality object like restaurant, cafes, or even accommodation. So this is all that we are somehow what good tourist map should provide to us. Okay, another one. Have you ever seen a tourist map and that confused you more than it helped? So you bump up to some tourist map on your travel and something was wrong. Some things that you didn't, you felt confused or even got you wrong way or something like that. Okay, Ivana says skiing maps were confusing. Can you unmute and tell why?
Because they're not explaining the tracks where you should go and where you will land, and you have like some before the ending of the day they're closing, and you need to change between the tracks and everything to end up where is your parking, and they're confusing. So every time it's the same battle when you're in the new skiing place. For me, that's very scary because you can be lost in the mountain and they close the skiing place, and then you're lost. Nobody cares.
Okay, great. So lack of information, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Also, maps can have too many information. Mariusz says overloaded with details. Bad. Oh, sorry, I have to scroll. Bad coloring, yes. Outdated printing issues, font size, great. Oh, so you have really good pre-knowledge. Carmen says, when there's too much information or different kinds of information are not well differentiated visually. Okay, yes, this is really bad thing about maps. Too much information, all information, yes. Especially all information, because some panels, some maps on the panels got with all the information, they don't maintain it well. So yes, too many details. Thank you, Dorota. Okay, great. So sorry, everything you said, I'm going to tell you now contrast of that. So maps should be clear, Map should be simple, clear as not overloaded with information. Of course, they have to provide information, but they don't have they can't be overloaded with information. They have to be simple in graphics, simple in fonts, as somebody said. They have to need to be informative, so they shouldn't be just like painting standing in the nature or in the urban area or on paper, but they should inform you about something. They should be easy to follow, so easy to know where you are in that point, and as Sarah mentioned, and of course they should be attractive, so you should be attracted to it and to see what information you are looking for. Okay, we are now getting into the part one after this ice breaking. Thank you all for your feedback. We are now entering the part one about tourist maps. So first, let's start from the scratch, but only shortly. So what are maps? Maps are diagrams or schematic representation of specific area. They can be, of course, professional maps. They are done usually by softwares for mapping like GIS or Geographic Information System and some other softwares where everything is matching with altitude, geographical information, etc. But they usually include lines, polygons, text, and some types of images. Lines are used for roads, for rivers, for toponyms that are in shape of line. Polygons are for areas, for hydrographical objects like lakes, like seas, ponds, and some kind of areas like mountains. What else? Text, of course, is used to give or to provide information about titles or toponyms that are on the map. And images like illustrations or photos, of course, are present to more detailedly present some kind of hotspot or attraction that is specifically on tourist map. This is one good quote that I put here. It says, "A map explains a complex three-dimensional space into a two-dimensional form." So it changes three-dimensional space that we are looking around us and putting it into two-dimensional form. If you participate the next session, we will do the opposite thing. So we will try to let's say, put two-dimensional form of a map into three-dimensional form of map. So you will see how it is possible to do. So stay tuned if you want on the next session to see this or experience this. Why maps are important? First of all, tourist maps are important because people, or not even tourist map, but maps are important because when people are coming to specific area that is unknown to them, they have first contact with the area by maps. So whether they are at home and planning some kind of tour or travel or something like that, they will first look at the map where that area is. Specifically, what kind of area, what is the size of that area. Just unmute somebody. Sorry. Okay. Of course, so it is the first contact of visitor with the area. Secondly, it's navigation. People, of course, use maps, even digital maps or navigation softwares or applications on their mobile phones or computers, or they use paper maps to just navigate through the area. Of course, we use maps to plan visits, so to see how to come from point A to point B to point C, and to get the whole itinerary of our travel. Of course, it shapes visitor experience. That's what Carmen mentioned in the first comment. So if you enter one area like urban area or natural area and you see really attractive and useful map, you will probably feel more confident to enter that area and to discover and experience that area. It should highlight main attractions. We already mentioned that, and of course to add to give additional info and services from, as I said, from some logistics in area like where you can sit down, where you can even smoke, where you can eat, drink, to some other really useful services like police station, hospital, fire station, why not? So it is all information that should one map provide. Of course they are different and for different purposes, but this is like general concept of the importance of the maps. Where do we use tourist maps, or what kind of tourist maps do we have? First, we have a printed version, which is paper version. You can see it in the photo on down the bottom left. So it is a printed version of a map. It can be inside one brochure, or it can be the map independently by itself. When you visit natural areas, you mostly get it in visitor center, info centers of that areas, or you can get it in tourist offices. They are small scale maps, and this is really a big challenge to put as much information to that, let's say 10 by 10 centimeters or 10 by 20 centimeters size of a map, and they should be really designed well to be mostly to be as much useful as they can be. Second, also printed version can be put on the boards. This is the board in the middle photo is the board from Danube Park from Novi Sad. It will be our case study for today. So you literally in each tourist place or natural area, you have boards where you can easily navigate from attraction to attraction, and it should provide some spatial information. What is different between a paper version and let's say board version? Board versions, of course, are bigger in size, and you can put a lot of information within that map. So you can use the same type of the base of the map, but you can put a lot more information on boards or panels that are mounted in the space. And the third, let's say, version of the map is digital map. Again, it can be the base from previous two examples, but digital maps can be what is different is that they can be interactive. This map is which you see in the right bottom or right figures, photos in the right corner, is a map of Fruška Gora National Park, which is here in the vicinity of Novi Sad. Several colleagues of mine and we created this interactive map. You can find it on their website. If you can read Cyrillic, because it is in Cyrillic mostly for people from Serbia and surroundings. It has that form of interactivity. So when you can see on the map, it's not that big, but I will talk about in the next session about it. So on click, you can open each of these attractions that are on the map, icons on the map, and you can go through a virtual tour of each of these destinations. They can be posted on the website, on the internet. They can be put on the touch screens like this, and be placed in visitor centers, or be placed or even carried to this is specifically Fair of Tourism in Novi Sad, so they carry it whichever event they have, they carry it and present their national park as much as they can. So how should a tourist map be like? This is the tourist map of the Riga Zoo in Latvia. This is Zoo Park in Latvia. It has a lot of information. Maybe some of you would tell that this is overcrowded map, but I think they had to put each of the animal to display, so you don't miss any of it. Or if you are searching specifically for owls or searching specifically for giraffes or zebras, you would know where to go. This is why this is overcrowded. It is a good example of map, especially because you have entrances, you have all the facilities that are there, from toilets, restrooms, restaurants, smoking areas, even, of course, some information about the constructions, which is not available at that moment. So tourist maps don't have to be accurate that much. They don't have to need to have the scale, but scale is always useful for tourist maps, because then you can calculate how much does it take from point A to point B. Maybe this is the, for me, biggest bad side of this tourist map that you see in this photo. It should be experience oriented. So if this is a zoo, it should provide information about animals, and this is somehow they put them really let's say into detail. What I would do on this map, I would probably maybe put some different colors of animals, but then you can really overdo it with colors. I think this is mostly good. I put also selective information, so we cannot put everything that we want to present in one map. Especially this is a website map, but also this is printed for visiting the zoo. You cannot put everything in the map, so you have to select what kind of attractions or hotspot you want to present to your visitors. Of course, when you're creating maps, you need to know your audience or your visits. If your visitors are mostly hikers, you need to put trails on the map, you need to put distances, you need to put the difficulty of the route, of each route, etc. If it's families, families mostly, of course, if they are families with kids, you need to put as much resting places, toilets, restaurant, cafes, so playgrounds, of course, for kids, so you can provide them that kind of information. And if it's for general tourists, you probably need to make some kind of combination with these two previous types. Even if you are available to do that, it will be best to have hiking map, family tour map, or something like that. So to make specific forms of specialized maps for each of the tourism or visit segments. What are the elements of a map? We mentioned most of them. First is the base map. This is, in this map, what you see in green color. So it can be satellite image, it can be drone, just shape drone in the background. It can be a physical geographical map that shows mountains and some other natural objects like hydrographical objects. It should show trails or paths or roads. It should, of course, point out some points of interest or hotspots or tourism maps. Sorry, just to, we have comment. What is the level of map reading skill in new generations? Without help of navigation, what is the future of boards? Okay, yes, well, new generations are really specific. They don't like papers, not that they are eco-friendly, but they don't like to carry anything but their telephone. They search for applications, if it is Google Map or any kind of other application. I think that future of boards is always positive, because people, even with some applications, sometimes they don't trust, because they think maybe it is not that precise or something. That they would ask for boards. It's useful, but should be updated Yes, to new realities, avoiding overloading with text. Great. Yes, I'm sure that you're pointing out this map. So I'll tell about it later. I on purpose put this map here, and I will demonstrate it a little bit later. So, what are the elements of the map? So, base map, trails, points of interest, and legend. So, what do you think about this map? Is this good map? Good quality map? So it has base map, it has north point, it has legend, it has some useful information, it has warnings. What do you think about this map? Maybe you can unmute yourself and just describe. Maybe it's better to say than to. And of course, it has your here point.
Hi, can I add something?
Yes, of course.
I just jumped in. Sorry, I thought it was at 5 o'clock, but just on the first site, I think it's too much information on this map. I'm a little bit confused. Maybe if it would be interactive map, you can it can be more layers, and then you switch on and switch off. Just a thought.
Great. Okay, this is not digital map. This is, let's say, okay. Let me make a confession. This is AI generated map. I purposely, you can see that you're here. There are two arrows on you're here, so you cannot be at one place, two places in the same time. So I put in AI generator. I put, please generate a bad tourist map, and gave me this. Yes, of course, too many information, too much information. Even even if they are not all things that there are some really important things in this map, but this is really overloaded map. So I wanted to just to see if anybody would say that this is good map. But if this map is printed on a piece of paper, A4 paper, or even smaller paper, you wouldn't be able to see anything on this. Yes, so this is, Sarah says, bit too much. Maybe only some important info should be better. Yes, of course. This is the magic of creating maps. So what to include, what to exclude from the map. So what are the designing principles of tourist maps? First and probably the most important is to simplify it. So simplicity. The bigger map, more details. If you have a really big panel, like 2 meters by 1 meter, 2 meters wide, 1 meter high, you can put a lot of information. But the map itself shouldn't be overcrowded. You can put aside maybe some warnings like do not make photos, do not feed animals, do not set up fire, etc. But the map itself should be as more simple as it can be. This is visual hierarchy. So what is important? Do you want to emphasize attractions? Do you want to emphasize the trails? Do you want to emphasize some additional points? So you should make the hierarchy of importance of hotspots. Of course, contrast. Somebody also said the colors. So you should create a map with as much contrast of things that you want to make important. Usually the base map should be in light green color. If there are some roads or trails, if there are some roads that are not important, you should put them maybe in gray, light gray color. If there are some trails that are really dangerous, you should put them in red color, in really red color. If there are some animals or some hotspots, they should be visible. Of course, if you use fonts, the fonts should be also really clean fonts, like maybe like this one. Thank you, Carmen, for this font. Maybe to use only capital letters because they are easier to read. what is important, I already mentioned that with tourist maps, is the scale. So you don't have to be entirely accurate. So if a lake is small, you can make it bigger. If I'll show you later how I put something bigger than it is, just to make it more visual for tourists or for visitors. Of course, use symbols. You can use symbols as icons. You can use illustrations or photos. It is recommended not to use both illustrations and photos, because you need to be consistent with what you do. So if you make only illustrations, they should be in the same style. If they're artistic illustrations, they should be from the same artist, or artist should maintain with the same style. If it's photos, then it's only photos, but photos are not that attractive on tourist maps. You probably noticed. Maybe I will show some examples of that. Okay, this is that bad example that we already discussed. So overcrowded, a lot of information, you don't know where to look at. Okay, it is AI generated, but really it needs to be filtered with information, especially on the map, where you can see a lot of things that you maybe not need. Of course, the icons are generated, so they not present what they should present. So, but okay. Another example. These are also two maps that are AI generated. I didn't want to use much of the real maps, because I don't want to offend anybody, but I will show one bad example from Serbia. So these are maps that are AI generated. I first gave to AI generator to generate a good example of map. Of course, I put some prompts that to create maps like this, and of course, good example is on your right hand side. So you can see the Pine Ridge National Park, which is of course imaginary national park, with some trails, with some information about that can help visitors, and of course with some trails, and with a note: please stay on the marked trails, pack out what you pack in, and help keep our park beautiful for all. This is really nicely generated tourism map that I think that everybody would use for their own purposes. And on the left side, you can see overcrowded, too much information map that probably most of people would get lost into these pine trees within the map. You can also see wildlife you might see, and you can see that animals, of course, are not that originally generated and have more heads and hands that they should have. So more drawing not necessary. How to overload without information? Yes, of course. Thank you, Isabel. So this is, let's say, good and bad example of the same area, which is of course generated. So we can catch the point of what is simplicity that we want to achieve in creating digital maps, or maps in total. This is a good example of, this is web map of Yellowstone National Park. What is good to have when you have a bigger area of your, let's say, if it is town, city, or if it's natural area, and it's really huge in size, you can divide it into several areas and create several maps. So this is what they did in Yellowstone. So they created maps for each of the, let's say, small attractive regions. I put as a good example, this is map of Grand Canyon. So, okay, this is really highly professionally done map. This is from their website, so this is not, although it looks like AI generated, but it's not. It is the real map taken from website of Yellowstone National Park. So you can see a lot of information, but somehow it is not overcrowded with information, not overcrowded with icons and symbols. It has labels on each of the points that you should visit. Of course, with this, there goes additional text on their website, but this is only the map with additional text. So you can even print it, or you can use it as informative before you come to this national park or this specific destination. This is one example from Serbia. Užice, I'm not sure how much you know Serbia, but Užice is one city in western Serbia. It's a great place, really. It has National Park Tara and a lot of protected areas. But this is their formal tourist map of their tourism organization. So if anybody can tell me your impressions about this map. It would be easier to unmute and just talk, not to wait for, or we can wait for you to write maybe your comments on this map. So look it entirely. What do you think about? So let's say that you want to travel to Užice and you bump up to this map. Anybody writing or? Thank you, Sarah. Yes, interesting. If you have family and kids, yes.
And where is the legend? Actually,
yeah, I missed out legend. I missed out legend, but the legend just say that this is the restaurant. This is you can eat here or something like. Oh, you can sleep here. This hotel. But if you see, okay, Damiana likes it. Great. So this is really physically, let's say, aesthetically appealing map. I'll show you even closer from closer part. So it shows you what you can do. So you can fill in your car with fuel, you can sleep, you can eat, you can go fishing, you can visit monastery, but it doesn't say which monastery or church it is. So it's just guy standing next to monastery, it's just guy with a rifle, so you can go hunting, or you can go to swimming pool, or you can ride in train or something. So it is overcrowded maybe with information. It's really I like that, good for kids and family. Yes, I think the drawings are a bit too complex. Of course, if you can you imagine if you're printing this map, I think you print it in a small scale, you wouldn't see anything, because this is not whole map. So there is also legend beneath. So this is only one part of the map. So I think what they should do, if they have, and there is really a lot of attractions, especially in the western part of this municipality or tourism organization, they should create this style maybe with this with this guy representing the Serbian guy. It would be maybe better to present each of the parts with this, and with some kind of titles or names of these places which you can visit. So I think the drawings are a bit too complex. Minimalist logo would be better. Okay, thank you, Isabel. Yes, of course, because it's really overcrowded, and the base of this map is some kind of physical geographical map. So it's maybe even overloaded with roads, because you wouldn't use these roads maybe to put out some, maybe leave only some roads that are useful.
Maybe for the smaller area would be better.
Yes.
For such a big area, it's really confusing.
Yes, they should make they should create, like in Yellowstone National Park, they should create several smaller area maps, and of course they can follow this style, which is really pleasing. Some artist was doing that, but it should be maybe a little bit more simpler. My eyes don't know where to watch, as if ever is important. Yes, they're trying to. Yes, you should choose what to show. Yes, it's always about finding compromise between clarity and information. Thank you, Marius. This is really good comment. Yes, and this is the art of creating highly efficient and high quality tourist maps. Thank you all. Really good comments. I like how you think. Okay, we already passed this first part of theoretical part of creating or touristic maps. If anybody has any comments on the previous one that we didn't share in the chat, if you can say, please, now is the time. If not, can you tell me if we need a 5-minute break, or we can go on with the practical part? Thank you, Isabel.
I agree. But I just came, so sorry.
Okay. I hope that this theoretical part wasn't too boring for you, because I'm sure that you have a lot of experience with tourism, visitation, and tourist maps. But we needed to cover these things, because also we needed to know your feedback on maps and how you think about this. So we will now create a tourist map. I don't have a clue how this will look like, so sorry in advance. I will just. So do you still see my whole screen?
No, the whole, just.
Can you tell me what do you see right now?
Your Google Drive.
Okay, this is what. Okay,
Yeah.
you're seeing my Safari. This is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I will now share with you one document, just to go to the chat. I will also send this all information. If you're not now able to follow me or to go on with me, I will share all this information and all these things that are in chat. I will share with you via email, so we have your emails, because you already applied for this session. So don't worry if you lose it right now. And if you have problems opening it, please also tell me. I will go, let's say, from the beginning. So first, I will present you what is our case study. Our case study is Danube Park. Danube Park is, do you see the photo?
Yes.
Great. Danube Park is the central park of the city of Novi Sad in Serbia. It is in the mirror center. It's like 50 meters from the pedestrian area in the city center. It is a great park, not that big, but really attractive, because it has a lot of biodiversity, old trees. It has one pond. We call it lake, but actually it is pond. It was renovated, maintained in some 20 years ago, and it was really it is really a place where people from Novi Sad like to come and enjoy, because there's a lot of shade, a lot of nature, lots of animals, birds, etc. So this is a park, and what I do with my students mostly is we are trying to create a better map than this panel map at the entrance of the park is. So first of all, I would like to hear again your impressions about this map. I now zoomed it a little bit. So if you can share your first thoughts. Imagine that you're entering the park and you're for the first time in this park, and you come up to this panel, to this map. What will be your impression?
There's some interesting points. This park is green, I think, where I think the grass is in this park.
Athanasia, you're great. It's not promising at all.
Yes, as you know, I have studied geography in my early years, and it doesn't explain what is there. It's I would say, very simple. It doesn't say anything. It's not promising for someone to decide to go around all these roads.
Okay, let's say it's not a big park. It's like 200 by 300 meters. So it's not that big park, but it is in the city center. Sorry, just to see. This is a good map, simple, and if you already know what to search, you know where to go. Okay. Sarah, you didn't mention your here label or icon, which we don't have here. So this is the first impression that I have, that I see in the map. So I want to see where am I standing right now in front of this panel. So a bit bland to my taste. Okay. Great. Yes, these are actually these icons or symbols are photos of these, let's say, hotspots, or this is actually not practice in mapping to put photos as symbols. You can, if you have a really big board, you can put photos on the side, and then you put numbers or some icons, and then you relate to these photos, and then you can have photos. Photos as symbols are not attractive to eye. So it's like the map is very simple, however very big, and the writings are very small and complex. Yes, and it is in Cyrillic, although the legend is bilingual in Serbian and in English, but the labels on the map are in Cyrillic, so nobody from let's say who is not from Serbia would not be able to read it. Also here in the top, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but there is a Museum of Vojvodina, which is one of the most important cultural institutions in Novi Sad. So it's the museum of the whole province of Vojvodina, and they didn't put any labels here or labeled that part of it's not part of the park, but it's just on the across the really narrow street. So they missed to put that. Also, they don't maintain it. Now we have a small revolution in Serbia, so everybody is putting stickers where they can. So a lot of stickers you can see on the map. So nobody is maintaining this panel. Also, you can see this number 7. Number 7, it says in the legend, it says fountain, and number 8. So each of the numbers has their own symbols. Only 8 doesn't have a symbol, and it said playground. And also we have tennis court, which you can recognize, and we have handball court, which are not parts of the of the park, so they are closed for. It's not like community sport ground. It is private club, so it's not. It shouldn't be maybe included into the park map. But okay, 8 doesn't have anything, so it's just said playground in the legend, and this is the fountain. You can see the fountain, but if you see photos, actually fountain is not as it was or used to be. Now they just put some concrete object with 4 taps around, so it does not present what it should present in the beginning. Also, number 8, the playground. This is the panel of the playground. The panel, of course, is full of warnings and everything, and this figure does not represent what is actually in space, because the playground is only one slide and one stairs, which is not that attractive to people, and nobody uses this. And this is, as I said, the central, it's the central park. Danube Park is the central park of Novi Sad, and a lot of people who work in the city center or passing by grab a coffee. And of course, there is a cafe in the, let's say, northern part of the park, and they didn't put that because it's private, so they didn't want to promote this park. So I will now try with you to just give you insight how do we create these kind of maps. Of course, we use softwares. We use some professional softwares. Software that is used mostly for creating maps is Adobe Illustrator, which is highly expensive software, which is paid monthly, and if you're not professional, you just can't afford it. But I found for you one other application, just to download this photo so I can import it. It's called Sketchpad. It's called Sketchpad. I will also paste the link to this into the chat of this website. It provides you the best, let's say, hobby drawing sketching tool that you don't need to have very much experience in creating photos or illustration or anything similar. I will now act as YouTube tutorial, and then we'll explain you. Sorry, we have a chat. You don't see the screen.
Yeah, it's black.
Okay, it should be blank.
Yeah.
If you go to the left hand side, to the bottom left hand, there's a plus. Do you now see something happening?
Yes.
Okay. So in the left bottom corner, there is a plus where you can create a new project. I'll put, okay, of course, for now it's 2000 by 2000 pixels. I'll put transparent background, so we can create something on transparent background, and click create. Now we have our panel. I will just zoom out on the right upper corner. There's a zoom button, so you can maybe zoom out a little bit just to have the whole panel within the screen. And now what we do, we can insert the map that we created. Just a second. Okay. I'm sorry, because I'm working with full screen. When I insert, I have to. Do you see now the panel pasted into the screen?
Yes.
Okay. What we can do, we can always crop the area. So we can crop out what we are looking for. Like this. I know that this all will be much better when we do learning labs in person, but I'll just, let's say, give you a quick drawing matters how it looks like. So we put the photo in the right upper corner. We have layers. So everything that we put inside this photo or this transparent background will show up as layers. So we have, for now, we have layer of base map. We can rename it as base map. We can make it visible or invisible. We can also lock it if we don't want to for any reason to move left or right, so we can draw on the top of it. So I locked it, I put it visible and renamed it as base map, so I can know, I will know what it is. Then we use some tools. In the left upper corner, there are some tools where we can use to create these maps. There are a lot of different tools for drawing. You can maybe even be more artistic and draw it by pencil or paintbrush or anything else. But what I like to do, I like to draw in lines. So we need to digitalize each of these areas that are covered in grass. When you enter the line tool, you'll get the filling, which can be all different colors. You have outline. If you like outline, if you don't like, you just put the 100% to 0. Or if you want outline and don't want filling, you just put filling to 0, and you can put line to be bolder, or the width of the line you can adjust by yourself. So when you draw, let's say, this first part of the, I will now just not be that precise. Of course, we can always zoom in and be more precise in drawing, but this is something that, and then when you come to the end, you put double click, and this is the first surface that we covered or digitalized. This is when you go to the right up corner to the layers, you will see that we have the first layer, which is line. Each of these layers you can, of course, additionally adjust. You can delete it, duplicate it, do whatever with it, and also change styles. Now that we have drawn it, we can, let's say, fill it in green or in any other color that we like. Of course, we can use the code of the color and use specific color that we want, if we want to use some other colors. So this is how you draw the grass. Am I going too fast or too slow?
I think it's fine. We have to try ourselves to.
Yes, I think
how
it's
it
best.
works.
I think it's best to afterwards we will all send you the recording so you can play and stop, play and stop, and then you can practice with me together. So this is, then you put, of course, another time you click tools, then you choose again line. This time we can, let's say, we can draw this one. It's easier to me, as I said, to work with students who are in my classroom and sitting on the computers, and then I can check what they're doing. And so this is how you go, and then you make another one. And you do the entire grass area of the park. How do you do streets? You can do streets with many different tools, but what I use is also line. I put fill to be, let's say, some light gray color. Line can be maybe a bit darker color, and then to just, okay, start from the beginning, and then again digitalize the whole. It will be better when we do this. It's better to have transparent filling because then you will not have this overlapping of colors. But I'll just briefly, not that precisely, go and, okay, we'll skip this part of the road. Let's say something like, and then go back and finish it. Okay, it's not perfectly done, but it serves this point. So we can choose maybe different style, maybe different color, maybe a little bit darker color, maybe dark color also for the outline of the road. And this is how we how we draw each of these panels. Also with each of these symbols, what we did, we also put photo. So here, if you go to this left bottom folder, you can choose from different projects that you create. If you create a new project, you can also use, let's say, similar, and then create, and then insert the, let's say, the photo of one of the monument, and you can digitalize it and draw it by yourself, and then export it, and then insert into
Say something, please. But something serious.
Sorry?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted.
Oh, sorry. So you can digitalize even monuments, what we did some 5 years ago. But with the appearance of AI technology, I used some tricks to make it. I needed to show you how to draw, and I will show you in person when we have learning labs. But what we use today is, of course, magic of AI. If you are in this folder, you have, if you enter the folder that I share with you, you have folder icons, and you can see how AI created several icons that I wanted to create from this Danube Park. One of it is the map of Danube Park. So what I did, I just put the photo of what we saw previously. So I just put this photo in the AI. I asked the command, which is literally this command. So I said, please generate the illustration map of this park. Leave only grass, lake, trails, and streets. Exclude all icons, text, and symbols. So what the AI generated did is this. Also, what I did is I created the symbols or the icons. So let me just open in the other tab, so we can. Sorry for looking at my personal files. So it created from this, it created this one. So it's really, really good quality for tourist map, the base map of the tourist map. Also, for instance, it created from this photo, which is the main lake or pond of the park with a willow and a house for swans, a lot of pigeons, ducks, turtles in this lake. So it's really, really, this is the main hotspot of the park is this lake, and families, everybody's joining this lake and feeding the animals, although it says feeding animals is forbidden. It created something like this. I think it's really showing, of course, the size of the lake is not the same, the shape of the lake is not the same, but it is a symbol that you will recognize. If you see the symbol and you pass by that lake and that willow, you will recognize where you are. Also with this pagoda, which is the famous place in the park. I'll just show you the photo. Here it is, which is famous for photo shooting, the weddings, and some ceremonial things. So it's also how we used to, with students, we used to draw this, as I showed you how I drew the base map. We used to draw each of these monuments, buildings, tennis court, cafe bars, everything. So we used to draw all of these, but of course now we have AI and we don't have to engage artists or engage somebody. We can just pay a few euros, and even this playground is nicely done as icon or symbol for map. And this is what I want to show. This is actually not the hotspot from the map, from the real map. This is so-called lover's bench or kissing bench. So this is, as I said, kissing bench where young people come to kiss with their partners. It is all surrounded in bushes and trees, and nobody recognizes this as attraction because it is attraction. Then I use this to create a logo of it, or I create this, or first AI generated this, but with a trash bin in front. Then I removed the trash bin, and then I said, okay, but the bench is not that clearly presented, so I put it with a bigger bench. So I think this is the most appropriate to create as a logo. So these are the symbols. We'll not now put them on the map because it will take, I think it's already taken us too much of the time. It's more than 1 hour and 15 minutes. But I will, for the next time, I will create one tourist map of Danube Park with logos like this, with hotspots like this, and then we will let's say put it into live with interactive hotspots, additional photos, additional 360 tours, additional text explaining each of the hotspot and attraction. This is also one monument which is really nicely generated as icon. This is also one monument in several phases. This is maybe too artistic, maybe too detailed. Then I put this one, which is less detailed, which is also perfect, but also this one, which is the least detailed representation of monument. So you can play with it. What I forgot to mention is what program or what software I use. I use Pixela. I will also paste this for you in the chat box. For now, it is. Yes. Oh, Carmen, you asked me. Sorry. Pixela is not that expensive. You first buy it for several, I think, €2, something like that. Then I just prolonged my subscriptions to, I think, €5, something like that per month. So you can always, of course, terminate your subscription. So for me, I chose this because it showed to me as most suitable for creating these. Of course, it created also these fake maps, good and bad examples of maps. So you can use it for that also. So it is used for, let's say, creating illustrations that you want to create. You can create all these things for. This is also really good example of how they. Or I can show it here in the folder. So this monument would be really hard to, let's say, draw, and we put a lot of effort in digitalizing this, and this is what AI does in just 1 minute. So I think it's really good. Illustrations are really clear, simple, and the perspection of the illustrations is really great for tourism. So you can always play. What I use the same prompt, so the same command for every each of text. You can find it here in the folder icons. There's prompt. There are also prompt for the statues or attractions. There's also prompt for the base map, and there's also links for drawing tools, which is Sketchpad that I use, AI generator, which is Pixela that I use for generating the symbols, and free online Photoshop if anybody likes to take off backgrounds, to make transparent backgrounds, to somehow edit photos. Photopea is literally the same thing as Photoshop, but for free. So you can also use it. So you have it in your chat. If you want, you can save the link that I gave you, the folder, the link to the folder that I shared with you. But you can also later on, you will get in the email. I will send you the link also together with the recording of this session. What I will do next is, so I will, because it would take at least 1 hour more to create the map and put all the icons, all the labels, all the street names, all other things that I wanted to put. Of course, you are here sign. So I will create it until the next session. And I will also share you another folder with some more photos and more text about some specific hotspots. And then we will make it alive, make it interactive map, make it, let's say, a small virtual tour of Danube Park. So I think that we shouldn't lose time here now to you watching me drawing all the details of the park. But next time I will bring the whole digital map or interactive map of Danube Park, and then show you how to put these hotspots, and of course to use another free application or software that you can use for creating interactive or virtual maps of your area. That is all from me for now. So if you have any comments or anything to add, maybe share your experience or something like that, now is the moment. Nobody. Okay. Now I would like to ask you to, I will stop sharing my screen. I will now ask you to fill in the questionnaire, which is actually the feedback form for this session. Here is the link. So these two sessions are somehow connected. So if you missed this session, probably you'll miss also some things regarding creating of the maps. And if you miss the next session, you'll probably not be able to put some interactivity into this map. Of course, I have to say it again that this kind of workshops or sessions are much better in person when you're sitting by computer, and I can literally help you how you can create this, but there will be opportunities, so you can stay in touch with us, and when there will be learning labs in your countries, you can apply and be with us, and of course not just my sessions but also sessions by other trainers, Carmen and Katerina. So I think that it will be really useful to put something new and to refresh your maybe knowledge from interpretation of heritage in the next period and to implement it into your areas. Thank you, and please click on the link to the Google form to send feedback for us, because it's really important for us to have your feedback and how this was, because we want to make it even better. Thank you.